When I was growing up, I always wanted to be like Marilyn Monroe or someone exciting like that. I wanted to go to Hollywood and make it and have a life full of adventure. When I moved to LA, I was in college and I was working as a waitress and trying to make ends meet. And I had been going to these parties at the Playboy Mansion, and some of the girlfriends there, were very friendly and wanted me to hang out. Everything at the mansion looked really glamorous, and it looked like something that I wanted as well. The first night I went out with Hef and the girls, I got really drunk. He offered me prescription drugs, which I didn't take, but he offers Quaaludes to all the girls that would come out with him. And you'd get upstairs and there'd be kind of this orgy that was going on. It turned out to be something that was traumatic for me in a way that I wasn't really prepared for. When I chose to move into the mansion, I felt like it would be this temporary thing. I would get back up on my feet, and the first few people I told, they judged me really harshly, and everybody assumes that you're some kind of prostitute or something, and I just felt really ashamed of the choice I made. Life at the mansion is very different than a lot of people think. We were just expected to kind of sit home and behave. All the girls had to be in the house by 9 o'clock. We weren't really allowed to leave. We had to get special permission even to go visit our families back home, things like that. I think my lowest moment was maybe around 2003. I lived at the mansion for a couple years. I'd completely lost my sense of identity. I just thought, I'm stuck here. If I leave, everybody's gonna think of me as this, Playboy whore, and I didn't see much of a future for myself outside the mansion. One night I was in a bathtub and I was just thinking about what would happen if I just sunk my head under the water. It was really what I wanted to do at the time. I was really inspired to tell my story because over the years since I left the mansion, I would meet fans who would ask me if I missed the mansion and wasn't it so fun and wasn't it so great. So it's very important for me to show people what things were really like. For years, I always thought that I was unhappy at the mansion because of the other girls. And as the years went by, I started to notice more and more that it was really Hef manipulating the situation. He wanted to feel special. He wanted to feel fought over. But really, he was just really controlling. He wanted to appear that, he had these 7 girls who were devoted to him. And I convinced myself that I was in love with him because I'd invested so much of myself in this situation. But of course, over the years, I became a little more wise to what was really going on.
Mr. Hefner right here, ladies. Everyone.
Hef and I started hitting kind of a rocky patch when it became clear that Bridget and Kendra were leaving. They were moving on to new things. I just had enough and just had realized all the delusions I'd been under and that this was no longer the life for me. And the whole thing kind of came to a bizarre peak when I went into Hef's room to pack up the remainder of my things. And I found on my side of the bed a folder that he left out. And in his will, he left me $3 million. It was very clear to me that he left that out for me to see because he was hoping it would change my mind and get me to stay. But it just kind of disgusted me more than anything because all he can do is say, oh, here, I'm gonna throw you some money to get you to stay. It just grossed me out.